He vanished just a month after my spinal injury, leaving me to navigate grueling physical therapy while raising our teenagers alone. When he finally resurfaced, it was only to crash my son's restaurant premiere to impress potential investors. My son didn't offer him a seat at the table. Instead, he handed him a permanent trespass order. When my results came back, I was strapped to a rigid backboard in a freezing trauma bay. The neurosurgeon used the phrase incomplete severing, which I clung to desperately. L1 vertebrae shattered, emergency fusion, then a year of grueling inpatient rehab. I woke up in the EQ and asked for my husband. The nurse gave me a pitying look. He didn't even say goodbye. He packed his bags on a Friday, 3 days post-op, leaving a typed letter on our kitchen island claiming he wasn't built for a caretaker role. Our son was 16. Our daughter was 12. He relocated to Austin within 2 weeks, moving into a high-rise with a 24-year-old fitness instructor. I found that out when my sister brought my laptop to the hospital so I could pay the water bill. An email from a leasing office confirmed he had signed the paperwork a month before a drunk driver ever hit me. Relearning to walk is a lesson in the absolute indignity of daily routine. The mortgage still needs paying. Groceries don't magically appear. I was a commercial real estate appraiser, and I did my job from a motorized wheelchair. I dragged myself through hours of agonizing nerve pain every single morning because I refused to let my kids lose their house. My son stepped up without a single complaint. He learned to fix the plumbing by watching YouTube, took over the heavy lifting, and sat with me during the midnight muscle spasms when I was sobbing into my pillow. He drove his sister to her debate tournaments. He never once made me feel like I ruined his childhood. My daughter retreated inward. She became a machine of pure focus. I watched her call him on her 13th birthday, her voice trembling slightly as she asked if he was visiting for the weekend. The tinny voice through the receiver sighed and said, "Work is crazy right now, kiddo." She ended the call, quietly deleted his contact, and opened her history textbook with the cold precision of someone locking a vault. He sent lavish gifts instead of parenting. High-end espresso machines, a $1,000 drone for our son, designer bags for our daughter. The shipping labels read from dad, as if a tracking number could bridge the gap of a 2-year absence. As if an expensive gadget could rewrite the memory of a daughter learning that her father viewed her as collateral damage. I assumed the kids were using the stuff. My son was grinding away at culinary school in Chicago, working 60-hour weeks as a line cook. I was fiercely proud of him. I didn't know what my son had done with the gifts until the grand opening of his first upscale bistro. My daughter was in her first year of law school and flew in for the weekend. I was sitting at the VIP table, leaning my cane against the velvet booth. Then I saw him. My ex-husband hovering near the host stand in a custom gray suit, flanked by 3 wealthy venture capitalists he was trying to court. He was pointing at the kitchen, playing the role of the proud patriarch. My son saw him through the serving window. His jaw tightened, locking into the rigid, unbreakable posture of a man executing a long-held strategy. He wiped his hands on his apron and said, "I've got this, Mom." They met in the center of the main dining room. My ex tried to pull him into a hug for his audience, but my son stepped back. "You look great, son," he said, dropping his arms. My son reached into the hostess podium and pulled out a thick manila folder, worn at the corners. "Every single piece of garbage you shipped us," my son said, his voice carrying just enough to silence the nearby tables. "I sold every one of them on eBay the day they arrived. That money funded the down payment for this building." My ex stared at the folder, which contained copies of the auction receipts. "I don't want your congratulations," my son continued. "I want your investors to know exactly who they're getting in bed with. A man who runs when things get difficult. You sent bribes because it was easier than being a father. I get that. But I'm not going to pretend it was the same thing. And I'm not going to let you use my success to fund your next startup." He pressed a formal, signed trespass order against his father's chest, let it drop, and turned his back. My daughter was waiting by my table with her whole life ahead of her. My son walked straight toward us. My ex stood frozen under the chandelier, humiliated in front of his furious business partners. Some people think they can buy redemption. Sometimes, they just end up funding their own exile.